Hey everybody, and welcome to another Cricut craft tutorial. Before we get started, make sure you subscribe to my channel. I put out new videos on Wednesdays and Saturdays with the occasional bonus live video. In today's video, we are going to do a craft from the 143Vinyl Christmas Mystery Box. It was a really fun box that they did over the Black Friday weekend, so if you got your hands on one, this is the video for you. But even if you didn't, you can totally do these crafts, and they're really fun and easy to do. So today's craft is going to be this penguin acrylic blank. You get all the vinyl included, plus the acrylic blank, the keychain hardware, and this really cute tassel. There's a ton of great stuff in these mystery boxes to work with, and you're going to be able to do tons of different projects, including the ones that are in the box, but they give you enough vinyl that you can do a bunch more projects as well. You're going to need a couple of the vinyls from the box for this. You'll need the StarCraft HD in black, white, and yellow. You're going to need the Style Tech glitter in the emerald green, and then you're going to need the PSV in the red glitter that they sent. So let's go over to Design Space. I'm going to show you guys how to download the SVG for this adorable little acrylic, and we can get started. The first place you'll want to go is 143vinyl.com. I'll link this below for you guys, but you can download your blanks for your acrylics right here so you can get an SVG that matches with them. So click there, and then we have the penguin ornaments. So we're going to scroll all the way down. These are alphabetical order. We'll scroll all the way down to penguin ornament. Go ahead and click on that, and it's going to ask us where we want to save it. I'm going to go ahead and save it into my acrylic blanks folder. I'm going to change the name of it just so I know what it is because I actually already saved it. And we'll just save it as penguin. Click save, and that's all you have to do for that part. Then we can go over to Cricut Design Space. Over in Cricut Design Space, you're simply just going to click Upload Image, Browse, and you'll go to the folder that you saved it in. So it's in my Cricut folder under Acrylic Blanks. And I'm going to scroll down to Penguin. Select that, and you'll see that your Penguin SVG comes up with all of the different parts. So now we can just add it to our canvas and start working. Now, it's really important that you don't resize this because these are sized to the blank. So you want to make sure that you're not going to resize anything. But what I'm going to do is ungroup everything. And that way I can kind of move things around and just see what I like as far as the design of the penguin. And if I want to change up anything, or if I want to add something, like you can add a cute little bow and a scarf, or you could do a little bow tie. And so you're lots of options, but you can also add something of your own if you would like. So what I kind of want to do, I was thinking I could maybe find a little piece of holly that I thought might look cute. So I'm going to check in Design Space Images, and I'm just going to search the word holly and see if we get anything that could work really well for our penguin, because I just thought instead of a bow, we'll do her kind of Christmas, because we're going to make her a Christmas ornament. So this holly's pretty good, and I think honestly that one will work perfectly. So what I'm going to do is resize that for sure, because it's way too big. And I'm going to twist it a little bit and then just sort of play with it. Now you got to keep in mind that this black portion is the outside of your ornament, so you can't have it hanging off. So it's going to need to be pretty small if you wanted to do a little piece of holly. Now I can see that's still a little too big, and I don't think I totally love that, but it's not bad. That's pretty cute. Now what I want to do is I'm going to change this centerpiece to red, and I just go up to where it says line type, and there's a little color selector over here on the side, and I'm just going to change it to red. Now, another option is that you could always take it and make it just sort of an accent on his tummy. If you wanted to, you could just take away the scarf completely, twist it around. It could just be a little accent piece on his stomach. So there's lots and lots of options. Now, I'm going to go ahead and just click undo so I don't have to resize that again. I'm just going to click undo until it's the right size again. And then I'm going to go ahead and delete the two bows because we're not going to use those. This is a super fun and easy project to do. And you can use these as keychains or as Christmas ornaments. These make really fun place settings as well. You can add a little name to them. You can always put something on the back too if you would like. It's up to you. It's completely whatever you want to do with them. So we're going to be using 3 different kinds of vinyl to create our little penguin. We're going to use a StarCraft HD. We're going to use a Style Tech Ultra Glitter. And then we're also going to use Caesar PSV Glitter. The emerald green that we're going to use for the hollies is going to be the Style Tech, and the red for his scarf and his holly, or his little holly berries, will be the PSV glitter. And then the StarCraft HD will be the white and the black and the gold. We'll use all of those different colors. So we got a lot of options to use in our mystery box. And honestly, you can use lots and lots of colors. You could totally make his belly pink or blue or whatever color. So in order to find the cut settings for all these different vinyl, let me show you where you can find those. Over at 143Vinyl.com, there's a couple of options as to where you can find this. You can either scroll down on their main page and find where it says 143 Vinyl Resources, or right over here where it says Show Menu. If you click that and click Cutter Settings, it's going to bring up the resources as well. And what you're going to do is right here where it says Material, Cutter, and Press Settings, go ahead and click on that and then click here to download the file. It's going to open up this awesome file, which is so handy to have. And I'm going to find each of the items that I'm using. So today we're going to be using the Caesar PSV glitter, and they recommend cutting that on glitter vinyl with more pressure. And I always recommend doing some test cuts before you fully commit to cutting, because everybody's machine's a little bit different. So the glitter vinyl setting may not work for you, but definitely do a couple test cuts before you start working with a new product. Next, we're going to be using the StarCraft HD, which is right below that. We have that is just cut on the regular vinyl setting. And then last but not least, we have the Style Tech Ultra Glitter, which is also cut on glitter vinyl with more pressure. So again, just make sure you're doing test cuts on all of this new material if you haven't worked with it before. Now we're ready to hit Make It, so just go ahead and click on Make It. And what I love about these is that you don't really need to attach anything because of the little feet and the face. Those will stay exactly where they're supposed to be. And so we have our white for our belly, black for his background, the little bit of red for the holly berries and the scarf here. Then we also have his little feet, and then finally the holly leaves. Now, one thing I will say, like I said, make sure to do some test cuts. This little piece is teeny, teeny, tiny, and it is a little tough for some of the glitter vinyl to cut. If it doesn't cut on the glitter vinyl, I'll just go back and cut it on regular StarCraft HD, and it's totally fine, or we can always just leave it off. So what I'm going to do is I'm obviously starting with StarCraft HD, so I'm going to hit Continue, and I'm going to select the vinyl setting to cut my StarCraft HD. Once you're done cutting with any of the materials and you need to switch materials, all you have to do is come back to your computer and click where it says Base Material Set To, and then you can change it to any material you want. To find the glitter vinyl setting, just type in the word glitter, and you'll see here that you have glitter vinyl setting. Select that, click Done, and then from this drop-down menu, you're going to select the pressure and you're going to change it to more. You'll do that for when you're ready to cut out your glitter vinyls, which includes your Caesar PSV and your Style Tech Ultra Glitter. So let's go ahead over to the machine. I'll let you guys watch all of these cut out, and then we can apply it to our little penguin blank. So I'm going to show you a really easy way to put your vinyl on your acrylic blank. Number one, you need to make sure that you peel off the coating. So there's going to be like a white coating, sometimes it'll be blue, but there is a protective coating that keeps them from getting scratched while they're being stored or in transit. So you peel that off one side. And then depending on what color your coating is, I like to put mine on top of a piece of opposite color vinyl. And then what I do is I take a piece of parchment paper. You can use any brand, any type, whatever you can get that's cheap, and just take a piece. It doesn't even have to be like a good piece. Like this will work just fine. Then what we're going to need to do is get some transfer tape. So you're going to need a piece of transfer tape. I'm going to slide this just out of the way a little bit. And I'm going to take my transfer tape, place it over my penguin, and I'm going to go ahead and burnish this down. Now, I personally like to apply this part to my penguin first, so his big back piece. Then I will add all the extra pieces on later. There's a couple of ways that you can do this, and I'm going to get a little bit straighter piece of parchment paper. That one got kind of rolled up when I stored my parchment paper the other day. And you don't need a real big piece, so a lot of times what I'll do is I will just cut my parchment paper down a little bit and save this piece between a book or something to keep it flat. So we're going to use just a piece of parchment paper. What I love is that you can see through the parchment paper. So one big important thing to remember is you want to have extra transfer tape on your decal because that is really important. And I just realized that I missed pulling out the circle for the acrylic blank. So I'm going to go ahead and pop that out now. If you miss something, it's okay. You can absolutely just pop it out later. And it's not always the easiest, but if you miss something, it's fine. You can get it out. And if I can't get it out right now, I'll pop it out once it's on the blank. Now that we've gotten the hole off there, we're going to go ahead and what I do is I lay my parchment paper on top of my acrylic blank. We're going to do this just like we do when we use the layering method for decals and stuff. So we're going to go ahead and place our penguin on top of our parchment paper. And then what I do is I kind of move him around a little bit. I look for where the hole is. I look for where his little legs are. And you can kind of move your parchment paper. You see how you can move it without your decal sticking, which is super important. So all I do is I just make sure that everything looks really well lined up. I just double check everything, just kind of seeing where the edges of my penguin are. And what I can do too, because I actually have his little wing stuck over here, is I can flip him over a little bit and look, and everything looks really well lined up. So what I'm going to do is hold his little wing, his little flapper, on this corner here, and I'm just going to make sure, one more time, listen, I'm going to be honest with you guys, I'm not great at doing these. I'm not great at lining up acrylic blanks. It is not something I have ever been fantastic at. It is something I do struggle with still to this day. So I like to really try to take my time, and then I really like to try to take my time when putting it down on the acrylic blank as well, because I don't want to get any bubbles. So I just take my finger first and I just run it all the way over, and then what I do is I take my squeegee and run it one way, take my squeegee and run it a bunch of different directions. And it's okay if your transfer tape sticks to your vinyl down here. It comes right off. Like you can see, it doesn't really stick. So it's totally fine. But you can move this. I just use this to help me see better because of the white against white, but you can use like cardstock or something too if that works better for you. So all right, we're looking like we are well lined up. Just make sure we have all of our bubbles pressed out. Now don't get rid of this transfer tape because we're going to use it again. So what I'm going to do is just gently roll it off of our penguin. And I can see his little flipper is kind of trying to come up a little bit. So what I'm going to do is come over to his little flipper and help that stay down. And then I'm just going to continue to roll it off of my penguin. Now this is kind of sticky, this transfer tape that I'm using, but I'm going to switch transfer tapes actually. I'm not liking this one as much. So I'm going to use the Caesar transfer tape. I like this stuff. It works really well. I don't know why I thought, gee, try something else. Don't do it. So what I'm going to do is go ahead, and I don't need a real big piece first, so we're going to get that one. And then I need a little bit larger piece for his belly. So I'm going to cut a bigger piece for that. I'm going to use this piece for all those small things that we have, the scarf and all that. But I like to have two pieces sometimes. So what I'm going to do now is grab his little tummy, and I'm going to take my transfer tape and place that on. And again, I don't want it centered on my transfer tape if I don't have to, because I'm going to use the parchment paper again. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pull my parchment paper back over, and I'm going to move it over so that I've got quite a bit of his little wing to stick my transfer tape to. And then all I'm going to do is set this on top of our parchment paper. And from here is where I can sit here and go and move it around and figure out about where I want it. Now this one doesn't have to be exact. It's his face and his stomach, so you can kind of move them around, figure out where it looks about centered. I think that looks pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and pull out my parchment paper, And then I'm just going to gently lay the belly down. And again, I'm going to start at one side and gently push with my finger over. And then I'm going to just gently press it down. And I'm going to go in all the directions. And then just gently peel this off. And again, I do this at a sharp angle, basically folding it over on itself. And this is just helping me not get bubbles. Now, there are always going to be a little bit of a micro bubble in there. And those are really easy. You can absolutely just let those sit overnight and they will go away on their own. So now we're going to do his little feet and his beak. So again, we'll do the same thing. I'm going to use the wing again as my holder for my transfer tape. And then with the feet, see how they're white again? I'm going to use my blue from my white backing here. And again, when you're working white on white, it's hard to see. So definitely use some sort of a contrasting color to help you out if you need to. And again, don't worry, you can adjust if need be. And I'm actually having a hard time seeing with the blue, so I'm going to go back to the black. Sometimes it is really hard to see where things are. But now I can see his little white feet, so that's what I was going for. Now I can see. He actually just looks like a little ghost now. So I'm going to go ahead and get his little feeties lined up. Where his little feet are. And his little beak. And again, I'm using his wing to hold down the transfer tape. And then I'm just going to press his feet down and come up and press his beak down. And then use my squeegee to press those down again. Now again, I did not do the best job on his feet. They're a little bit off, but that's okay. It should be fine. Again, I'm not exactly grand at these. It's not too bad, but okay, it's driving me nuts. I'm going to peel it off. So sometimes if it's not great, I will honestly just peel it off and stick it back on the transfer tape. If you do it quick enough, you can usually get it pretty easy. And then you can stick it back down. That's one thing I do like about the StarCraft HD. It's pretty forgiving when it comes to stuff like that. That's better. That is much better. I just did not do a good job on the first one. This foot, great. That one, not. All right, so we're going to use a new piece of transfer tape for our little pieces. So we just have a couple small things that we need to put on him. And we have our little holly berry and our scarf. And then we have our little holly. So we'll start with the holly. And I'm going to move him, go ahead and move him again. I know, guys, I'm sorry. I keep moving him off and on this, but this is how I do it. I just find this to work really well, and it's super easy for me. The holly leaves did not cut real well. The holly berry did. I probably should have cut these a third time, but I didn't. And I don't know how well they're going to show up against the black, because this emerald is really dark, but I think with the right like Christmas lights on it, it's going to look really pretty. So I'm just going to grab the berries by themselves and not try to get the scarf yet. And then I'm just going to kind of place the berries onto the holly. Simple as that. And then last but not least, we're going to grab his scarf. Now these little parts are super easy to do. You can line them up without the parchment paper if you want to, but you can still use the parchment paper if it helps. So I'm just going to line his little scarf up. That looks good. And then, again, I always just press it down my finger once, and then I come back and press it with my squeegee. And I really like the Caesar PSV transfer tape. It really does work really well. It is not super sticky, but it's sticky enough, and it works fantastic. So let me clean up all of the extra little pieces. Our penguin is all done. It was super fun and super easy. You just need to take your time and practice. If you don't get it right the first time, don't fret. You can always peel off your vinyl and try again. It's okay to make mistakes, and it's okay to have to fix them. Don't worry, nobody's perfect. As you saw, I messed up his foot. And like I said, I'm still not great at these, and I've been doing them for a couple years. This is just one of those types of projects that for me is a little more difficult than some others. But I do hope that some of my tips help you guys out and help you kind of get some time to practice and learn how to do this. This mystery box is such a cool box full of lots of great fun things to do. If you guys have any questions about this or anything else, please let me know in the comments down below. I'm always happy to answer those for you. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. I put out new videos all the time. I hope you guys have a wonderful holiday season and happy crafting.